There's a well-known fable, I think by Aesop, called a wolf in sheepskin, where a predator disguises itself as a harmless prey to try and trick others. But if you are familiar, or if you understand that idiom, the true meaning of that idiom, it basically teaches or offers a great morale of how true intentions will eventually be shown or be exposed, even in the midst of bullshit, or even in the midst of disguises. See, my dad is Vhatsonga and my mom is Venda from Tianda. And even I know that the whole Vhatsonga march or movement has nothing to do with us being marginalized or with us being always unfairly treated or anything. Even I know that this is just a decoy used by a certain political party, a red political party with their leader, to try and shy away from the reality of things in South Africa. The South Africans are tired of illegal immigration. You know, at first I thought, like, they could have fooled me. I don't want to lie to you. They could have fooled me, because at first I thought, you know what, finally somebody gets it. Right? Somebody gets it. But I looked at the timing, number one. And after looking at the timing, I started listening to these guys. And at first, they hide or they sugarcoat the truth with things like, yeah, no, you never talk, we've always been marginalized, yeah, because we are no different. And then you start listening to them, then they start mentioning other tribes like Zulus and Xhosas. That's when you're like, oh, okay. We talking tribalism, but we are busy mentioning other tribes. Actually, it's nations now, because it's no longer tribes. Tribes are just smaller groups. Now they are nations. Now we are mentioning other nations or other groups. We are mentioning other groups, but we are saying, no, we are not tribalistic. And then somewhere along the lines, when you start following these guys, you go through their social media pages, you realize, no, man, these guys have actually been obsessed. These are just a bunch of guys that are obsessed about a woman, Jacinta. They are so obsessed with her, so much that, let me not talk about King Zai, the one who claims to be the king of Machangal. Because he's not. He's not. He's just a cartoon character, funny character, who just has an obsession with Pagelum Tagati for whatever reason. Maybe his girlfriend has a crush on Pagela, so he decided, I'm going to start hating on Pagelum Tagati. Let's talk about this Dr. What, the guy with the glasses. He's always been obsessed about Jacinta. From day one. He's always been trying to push this thing at Jacinta, but it hasn't been working. Then finally, maybe his leader, the leader of the Red Berets, not going to mention his name, the Red Berets, maybe gave him an opportunity to say, my credibility has already went down the drain. People no longer trust me. So how about we start using you? But here's the thing. They're saying tribalism is the results, if I'm getting it right, is the results of Zulu people and Xhosa people and other people that are hating on them. But that is wrong. Let me give you a little history lesson. Now, during the apartheid government, which is something that these people don't understand, is that the Venda people and the Tsonga people were faced a forced segregation under the Bantu civilization citizenship. I think the Bantu Civilization Act or something like that. I'll get the correct term. I think I'll put it in the caption. But they faced a forced segregation from the apartheid government, where they were stripped of their citizenship. So basically what they did is they were taken into certain homelands, which is Gazankulu or the Northern Transvaal, known as Ulimpopo today. They were forced into those areas because they were trying to separate them from the rest of the masses. They were separated and they were stripped of their own nationality. So basically the government said, or basically what the government was saying, the apartheid government was saying, is that Venda people and Tsonga people are not South African. They stripped them of their identity, they stripped them of their citizenship in their own country, forcing them into working for lower wages, because now they need to work as migrant workers in their own country. That's what the apartheid government did with the whole divide and conquer thing. They took the Venda people and the Tsonga people and segregated them so bad that they were away from almost everyone and anything. Now, because these homelands lacked viable industrial economies, most of the people there, the Vhatsonga people and the Venda people, lacked or needed, obviously, financial aid. They needed to survive. So most of them were forced into working in mines. They were forced into working hard labor for white people. You know, it was convenient for the apartheid government at the time to separate them. But what they didn't know is that this further pushed them away from certain people. Fast forward to 70s, 1979, I think, Venda people were stripped of their passports completely. Some of them were taken maybe from the homelands into Johannesburg, you know, to make them work in certain jobs, in certain industries for lower wages. Because the other, the other groups like your Xhosas, your Sothos, your Zulus didn't want to work for lower wages. So they took them and made them there. That's when people started hating. That's when tribalistic wars, fermented. That's when it became a huge thing. Then people were drawn apart. One thing you should know, even today, ask any other person who's close with us, Venda people, Vhatsonga people. You understand that it's not only Zulus or Xhosas or whoever that is tribalistic, but also us as Venda people and Vhatsonga people are very tribalistic. At any workplace, go to any workplace that is majority Venda people or Vhatsonga people. You will know the real definition or meaning of tribalism. So now, history has a funny way of repeating itself, and I think this is like the seeds of a tribalistic manifestation. These are the seeds of tribalistic manifestation. During the apartheid, Venda people and Vhatsonga people were separated, intentionally separated away from the apartheid struggle. They were told, you are not going to participate in that. And even their own leaders, even their own chiefs and kings told their people that you are not going to participate in this whole ANC thing and whatnot and whatnot. Fast forward in 2026, the very same people are now distancing themselves from fighting what's right in South Africa. And they're hiding behind, no, we have been previously marginalized, what, so we are trying to fight for that. Okay, sharp, we understand that and we respect that, period. But now the issue begins when you start mentioning words like Jacinta. Now you start mentioning people like Jacinta. Now you start mentioning words like open borders. That's when you lose certain people. And it's sad because now you are using innocent people who have been previously marginalized, who need people that are going to fight for them. You are using that to benefit yourselves and to try and push your own propagandas, which is the fact that you want to stop March and March and you don't know how, because you tried propaganda, you tried using slander, you tried using terms like xenophobia and lies. That people are being killed. You went and said Nkamulo was killed by March and March people, only to find out it was not even, it has nothing even to do with March and March. It has something to do, it has something totally different, has to do with it. And when you realize that is not working, you went and started hiring journalists from other countries to try and push that fear and promote division among South Africans. If you are a clever South African and you see posts like, yeah, these are clever people, those people are not clever. Don't be fooled, guys. Those are the biggest idiots of them all. Those are imbeciles. Biggest imbeciles ever. Because now they're hiding behind, now this is a peaceful march. It's not a peaceful march just because they are not carrying placards and they're not carrying your notkivs and spears and whatnot. That is not their traditional regardless, so they can't be carrying that, obviously. Just because they are not carrying that doesn't mean they are peaceful, because they are out there inciting violence. They are out there causing more division between South Africans. We are living in harmony. If you go to places like Diepkloof, Shawela, Tembisa, and any other township, you will see a Tsonga person and a Zulu person living together in harmony without any tribalism or whatnot. We are not saying there's no tribalism. Obviously, there are certain uneducated, a minority group of people that are tribalistic and don't know how to think, who can't differentiate between and somebody who's Tsonga and somebody who's Xhosa. But the real issue is that these people are not what they think they are, or what we think they are, or what you think they are. These people are far worse. They moved from red to black. But if you read between the lines, you'll understand that there's a red political party involved here. And it has nothing to do with Vhatsonga. I urge each and every Tsonga person, Venda person, they are going to mislead you. Because once they are done getting whatever that they need, that's when you will see their true intentions. Hence, I started the story using Aesop's fable of a sheep hiding in wolf skin. Don't think they are one of you. They are not.